What's up, YouTube? Okay, so today is October 8th, and it's about, I don't know, 5:30 in the afternoon, and I just got off of work around 4. But apparently there's been some pretty big announcements recently, or actually today, about the Palisades fire. A couple of my subscribers have sent me some messages saying that they found some guy, and yeah, so I don't know anything about it. This is going to be like a quick little reaction video to it, and hopefully it'll shed some light on what took place in the Palisades and how the Palisades fire, really happened. Hopefully it's true, right? Like it could be all speculation too. Like or is this guy just a scapegoat? Is it factually correct? Are the Chinese up there with satellites shining laser beams? And like nobody really knows. So this will be a reaction video, and for me, and this is all new information. So I hope we can get some answers for the people who live here in the Palisades and wrap our heads around how this all started, right? I guess we'll find out, all right? So let's go ahead and play the video. I'll do a quick little reaction to it. I also have another video lined up with Adam Carolla and Grant Cardone. I love the guy, the 10X guy. He lives up right there. He's got this beautiful mega mansion in Malibu, right on the beach. So I love listening to that guy because he's anything but politically correct, and he's a billionaire. Or he makes a lot of money, so you should really listen to what he's got to say, all right? Even if you agree, disagree, whatever, it doesn't matter, all right? So let's go ahead and do a reaction video to this fire thing and see what they have to say. Hopefully, we can figure out how this all started, and hopefully some of the people here who live in the Palisades, most importantly, can get some closure. Not that it's going to change anything, like the entire city was burned to the ground, but I don't know. The more information we get, the better it'll be for everyone, right? So let's go ahead and start the video. Oh, and I'm using Fox News, but it doesn't really matter, okay? Like, if you don't like Fox, who cares, right? It's just the news. All right, so let's play the video, all right?
Any moment from now, there will be a formal announcement of those charges. An acting U.S. attorney for the Central District of California, Palisades, will speak alongside other law enforcement officials. We will bring that to you live once it begins. Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kayleigh McEnany, here with my co-host, Emily Campagno. Also joining us, Kayleigh McGee-White, Fox News contributor, Laura Trump, host of My View with Laura Trump, and Charles Payne, host of Making Money with Charles Payne on Fox Business.
Charles Payne.
Now let's begin with Matt Finn, who's live in the Pacific Palisades, California. Matt, what do we expect?
Well, Kayleigh, sources tell Fox that an arrest has been made in relation to the Palisades fire. Our understanding is this person maliciously started a fire. And I'm standing here not only to show you the devastation of this lot that was burned out behind me, which represents thousands of lots in the Palisades, but also in the mountain area behind me. That is where we believe the origin of the fire began, near what's called the Skull Rock Trailhead. United States Attorney Palisades.
That's one thing that I always wondered. Where exactly was the origin of this fire? I never went there, and sometimes I wonder if I should go up there and make a little video of the area and just to showcase what it looks like. So that's great information that he posted, because maybe I can go up there and give you guys a broad perspective of how vulnerable these communities are to wildfires, that these coastal communities that are surrounded by mountains and debris and brush and vegetation. Like one cigarette, one stogue, and the whole place goes up. I swear to God, it's crazy. And it's there's so many other places, like in Topanga Canyon, in Calabasas, in Agoura Hills, Thousand Oaks, Newberry Park. These communities have so much of a similar layout. Like they're all just houses alongside hills, and the hills are covered with vegetation. And one day they're going up. You better believe it. So let's go ahead and listen to this, all right? Sorry if I interrupt.
Expected to announce the arrest and possible federal charges at any moment. Now, the homeowners here in the Palisades and thousands others, they want answers, and we believe we're finally going to get some very specific details in just a matter of moments. Authorities here say 12 people were killed in the Palisades fire, so don't forget that. There are deaths attributed to this fire. More than 6,800 buildings. U.S. Attorney Palisades is walking in now. I'll toss it back to you guys.
Thank you, Matt. Well, we will take you live to Palisades as he announces that arrest.
Is that everyone?
Good morning. I'm Palisades, the acting United States Attorney for the Central District of California. Today, we are announcing the arrest of 29-year-old Jonathan Rinderknecht for igniting a fire that ultimately burned down the Palisades earlier this year, killing 12 people, destroying more than 6,800 structures, both homes and businesses, and damaging over 1,000 more buildings. The complaint unsealed today charges the defendant with destruction of property by means of fire, a felony that can...
How do you, like, first of all, this is a 29-year-old guy, right? He's a young guy. How do you, 6,800 homes or structures, right, burned to the ground, billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars worth of damage, right? This is one of the most wealthiest communities in Southern California. It was a wonderful place to live. It really was. And 12 people are no longer with us. Like, what do you do to that individual, right? Like, was it intentional? Was it non-intentional? Was it accidental? You know, unbelievable. What do you do? What do you do? This guy's responsible for the lives of 12 people, and there's other lives that have probably been taken, unfortunately, due to that something super bad, because they're just the stress, the money, the anxiety, the bankruptcy. There's just the whole situation. So not necessarily the fire, took your life, but the after effects. People doing that stuff. So it's sad, man. Super sad. Well, hopefully we can find out whether or not this was intentional or not.
That carries a mandatory minimum 5-year federal prison sentence and is punishable by up to 20 years in federal prison. The defendant was arrested yesterday on a federal criminal complaint.
You think the 5-year thing, 5 years and 20 years, is like kind of situationally dependent, right? From like a legal standpoint. Is this 5 years only because it was an accident, right? Like and he tried to do the right thing and call the police or whatever and get this fire situation? But if it's 20 years, like, it was intentional, it was deliberate, and your intent was to cause and inflict as much harm as possible. There's sick people out there in this world that do stuff like that,
near his Florida residence, and he's expected to make his initial appearance today in the federal court in Orlando, Florida. I stress that the complaint contains allegations, and every defendant is presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. The allegations in the affidavit are supported by digital evidence, including the defendant's ChatGPT prompt of a dystopian painting showing in part a burning forest and a crowd fleeing from it. And we're going to put that up on the screen here once we get that going.
What an unusual thing.
The allegations are, there it is. That's from his ChatGPT. That's an image he produced a few months before the fire started. It shows the city being burned there.
Wow.
The allegations are further supported by the defendant's cell phone, his false statements to law enforcement, and his behavior during the Lockman fire, which the defendant is charged with maliciously starting shortly after midnight on New Year's Day of this year.
The Lockman fire, what is that? I don't even know what that is. Is that the fire that some people were saying, like, some kids went up there and they like started setting off fireworks or something like that, and that started a small fire called the Lockman fire? Is that what he's talking about?
And which eventually became the Palisades fire.
Oh.
Late last New Year's Eve, Rinderknecht returned to Pacific Palisades after working the evening shift as an Uber driver. Two of his passengers told law enforcement that he appeared agitated and angry that night. After dropping off a passenger in Pacific Palisades, Rinderknecht parked his car and tried and failed to contact a former friend. He exited the car, walked up a nearby trail, took iPhone videos at a nearby hilltop, and listened to a rap song whose music video including objects being lit on fire. The defendant had listened to this song and watched its music video repeatedly in the days leading up to the Lockman fire. 12 minutes into the new year, environmental sensing platforms indicated that a fire had started. It took the defendant several tries to contact 911 to report the fire. He fled the scene in his car, but turned around after passing fire engines driving in the opposite direction to fight the fire. While the Lockman fire burned, the defendant walked up the same trail from earlier that night to watch the fire and firefighters, using his iPhone to take short videos of the scene.
Wow.
Although firefighters suppressed the blaze, the fire continued to smolder and burn underground within the root structure of the dense vegetation. So that fire started on January 1st, and it smoldered underground for about a week until...
So this is the perfect example of how we could potentially use things like artificial intelligence to prevent these wildfires in the first place, right? Like if we had, unfortunately, we have, you know, a city that's just completely just fiscally disastrous, right? Like we're in $1 billion deficit. The number's probably higher than that. But this is really an opportunity for some tech company out there to create drones, like 24-hour surveillance drones for these wildfire communities, right? Like if you live in an area that's susceptible to wildfire, like this is an opportunity for a company to be created that flies drones and just sits there and hovers, right? And it utilizes thermal imaging and artificial intelligence to detect hotspots or potential fires, right? Like this isn't surveillance, right? This is literally just a tool that we could utilize to help prevent wildfires, right? So I think this would be a great idea in the future, and it could potentially save, you know, countless lives and billions of dollars, right? This is a great learning opportunity, and hopefully there's some smart kid out there who lives in the Palisades or lives in Altadena and can create a company like that could help save communities that are susceptible to wildfire. Because, you know, I don't know if you believe in the whole climate change and whatnot. I mean, whether or not you believe it, it's happening. Like hurricanes, tsunamis, wildfires, like they're super destructive, right? So wildfires are preventable too. It's not like an earthquake. Like there's nothing that you can do. Like there's so many things that we can do to prevent wildfires. Like we can create space. We can cut all these goddamn trees out of the Palisades. Like the trees belong in the forest. The city doesn't need trees. We can put succulents and things that aren't combustible, right? There's so many things. We can create massive fire gaps, like the hills of Santa Monica or whatever. Like we can create a couple of mile distance, right, between the mountains and the homes, right? We can have drones levitating in the air at all times, just monitoring thermal imaging and looking for hotspots. Right? There's so many things that we can do to prevent wildfires, right, from being catastrophic like this one was. So that's just some of my thoughts. But anyways, let's get back to the video.
Until on January 7th, heavy winds caused this underground fire to surface and spread above ground, causing what became known as the Palisades Fire, one of the most destructive wildfires in Los Angeles city history. Wow. Law enforcement
American
got to work,
history.
and by January 24th, had identified and interviewed the defendant. During his interview, he lied about where he was when he first saw the Lockman fire, claiming he was near the bottom of a hiking trail. Geolocation data for the 911 calls showed that he was standing above the fire in a clearing merely 30 feet from the blaze as it rapidly grew.
They got him.
As the world watched in horror as the Palisades fire burned, victims perished in the smoke and flames. Homes where cherished family memories and belongings were turned to rubble and ash. The iconic Pacific Coast Highway along Malibu looked like a war zone. Thousands of people were forced to evacuate. Though homes and businesses cannot be rebuilt, this arrest, we hope, will provide a measure of justice to all those who were impacted. We're going to do questions at the end, and we're going to get into more detail, but I want to thank the outstanding partnership we had in getting this case to where it's at. Thanks to the work of the ATF and investigative support from both the LAPD and the Los Angeles Fire Department and the U.S. Forest Service for their hard work in this investigation. I'm going to turn it over now to Kenny Cooper, who's the special agent in charge of the ATF Los Angeles Field Office.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Kenny Cooper. I'm the special agent in charge of ATF's Los Angeles Field Division. Today marks a significant moment in a long road to justice for our community. After more than 8 months of tireless, meticulous work, I stand here with our partners, proud to announce an arrest in connection to the devastating Palisades fires that claimed lives, destroyed homes, and shook this community to its core. Jonathan Rindernesh, age 29, residing in Melbourne.
I was curious about that. I wasn't sure if they were going to drop his name, because that opens up a whole new set of that opens up a whole new Pandora's box for not only for him but for his family as well, and rightfully so, right? Like that, all of that information should come out. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's a shame if he really did do it, right? Obviously, these guys got a case. Like, they're not going to come out on national TV and say all this stuff unless they have really substantial evidence supporting their allegation, right? They're not going to just these are the ATF, the feds, the police department, the attorneys. Like, there's so much going on right now, right? Like, and these things play out over a decade, right? With lawsuits and legal and attorneys and appeals and this and that, and it's gonna take forever. But it's pretty eye-opening that they found somebody. Hopefully this is the actual, this is what really happened. This is the guy, and it's not the Chinese up there with satellites spraying, doing laser beams on the Palisades, So hopefully it really was this. I mean, I know it's not going to really change anything. It's not going to bring any closure to anyone really, but because there's people that lost everything in this fire, and there's people who passed away in this fire, and people who probably took their lives as a result of this fire, unfortunately, and people who will never recover from this fire, right? Like, this is a once in a lifetime catastrophic event that people never recover from. It's just the way it is, man. But these things are preventable. I know that there's a lot of people who say that these natural disasters like wildfires aren't preventable. I firmly disagree. I think that, this is the United States of America, and I think that there's a lot of things. We have tools, and we have a lot of smart kids out there that can create and develop technology that could help prevent, right? Like, even if wildfires are a good thing, right? That, yeah, we should have, obviously, like, wildfires are good every once in a while. Like, the forest needs to get burned to the ground, but there's probably a safe way to do it. We got controlled burns, we got technology, artificial intelligence, drones. Like, unfortunately, it requires a lot of money. And when you have a state and city like California and Los Angeles in particular, their spending is just out of control, and it's the money's spent so frivolously. It's utilized for all of the wrong purposes, right? Like, just a really bad way of we shouldn't have budget deficits, right? Like, the city came out the other day, said there's $1 billion deficit. We shouldn't have any deficits. It's just property taxes, state taxes, income taxes, federal tax, this property, this income, gas tax, insurance tax. It's just tax after tax after tax. We should not be having deficits. We should be having surpluses, right? It's disgusting. So, to say the least, okay? The amount of ridiculous and absurd spending that the state and city participate in it's atrocious. So,
Melbourne, Florida, was taken into federal custody by ATF special agents, a Los Angeles City Fire Department investigator, and a Los Angeles police detective. This partnership and arrest is significant in the three agencies working hand in glove to get this investigation to where it is. Rinderneck, as the U.S. Attorney mentioned, is charged under Title 18-844F, malicious destruction by means of a fire of real property owned by an organization receiving federal financial assistance.
So
I know this community.
Maybe I misunderstood. Did the guy say he lives out in Florida or something like that? Like, what is this? If he lives in Florida, what the hell is he doing in the Palisades? And he's an Uber driver in the Palisades? Like, does he live in the Palisades, or does he live in Florida? I mean, how many people live in the Palisades who are Uber drivers at nighttime? Like, I think your income needs to be a lot higher than that. Unless he lives with his parents or something like that. I'm not sure, but I guess we'll find out in time.
Community has endured a long wait for answers. Families have carried an unmanageable grief, and an entire community has been left to heal while living with questions.
Wiped out.
Although we cannot share every detail of this investigation, it is still an active investigation, and judicial proceedings remain ahead. I can tell you this, from day one, ATF and our partners have been relentless. We made a promise to find answers, and we have kept that promise. To give you a sense of the work, I want to highlight the extraordinary level of cooperation between ATF and our partners. The Los Angeles City Fire Department, the Los Angeles Police Department, the Orange County Fire Authority, and the United States Forest Service.
You know, when I first started posting videos of the Palisades fire, a couple of those videos that I made a couple of like YouTube shorts, and in the video I was showcasing how many firemen there were on Pacific Coast Highway, from literally like just miles and miles and miles of ambulance and fire trucks, all and from other states as well. I don't know what happened to that footage, but I guess I lost it and it got corrupted or something like that. But there was so many police and fire trucks, just like thousands of them. So I just, we don't really give those guys enough credit. We really don't. And there's only so much that they can do, right, in the first place. So prevention is key, right? So I just wanted to say that too. If people think that these firemen didn't put in, this guy's giving thanks, right? He's giving thanks to the police department, the fire department, and rightfully so, because I remember seeing them firsthand, just the miles and miles and miles of just fire trucks, police trucks, F-150s, Ford Explorers. All of them were associated with CAL FIRE, and they were from Northern California, they were from Oregon, they were from everywhere. There was hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of vehicles, and all of them were, on the job. So they do deserve credit. They came through, I guess. I mean, it was really hard to fight this fire, but prevention is key. Prevention is key. So anyways, I just wanted to share that with you guys too. I wish I had the footage and the film still. I don't know what happened to it.
LA City Fire asked for our assistance, and within 24 hours, ATF's National Response Team arrived on scene. The ATF's NRT is an elite team comprised of certified fire investigators, electrical and fire protection engineers, chemists, accelerant detection canine teams, and other experts. We arrived within 24 hours and got to work with our partners. We processed hundreds of acres of damaged fire, examining every inch for the smallest clue. Over the course of the last 8 months, investigators conducted hundreds of interviews, including witnesses overseas, and pursued more than 200 leads. We collected more than 13,000 items of evidence, including fire debris, digital data, DNA samples, all analyzed by ATF's state-of-the-art forensic lab. Our team carried out 500 scientific tests, supported by ATF's Fire Research Lab, the nation's only large-scale fire science lab dedicated to fire investigations. More than 10 of our top engineers and support staff contributed to this laboratory analysis. This investigation has been documented over 300 ATF reports, including a 200-page report detailing the origin and cause of this investigation. ATF technical surveillance specialists were integral in reviewing approximately 1.5 million phone records and data extracted from digital evidence. And I highlight this because I know there's questions on the length that it took us to come to this conclusion.
Yeah, they're not going to come out live on national television and make this huge announcement if they don't have a substantial amount of evidence supporting their allegation. Like, that's not going to happen, right? You got the feds, you got the police, you got the fire department, this forensic analysis, all of this stuff going on, the ATF, like lawyers, doctor, like, there's no way they're going to do this and not, they feel like they really have the guy. So, and maybe this is the guy. I don't know.
Reviewing.
I hope it is. It would be nice for a lot of these. I don't know if it's going to bring closure to anyone, but because what's done is done, and there's still so many thousands of vacant lots. But still, at least maybe it'll, I don't know, answer some questions for some people. I suppose I was always curious to how it actually started myself, And I didn't think anyone would ever find out, because these things are very easy to, well, maybe not, they're not very easy to hide, but fire just has this way of destroying everything. And I've seen it before. I've seen it in the Woolsey fire. I've seen it in the Thomas fire. I've seen them firsthand, and everything becomes decimated. So they're super destructive.
A lot of evidence from one of the most catastrophic fires in the U.S. history.
The most catastrophic.
Through this extraordinary team effort, investigators determined that the Palisades fire, reported on January 7th, was caused by an intentionally set fire near a viewpoint along the Temescal Ridge Trail in Topanga State Park on January 1st. The fire was a holdover fire, meaning it was deeply seated in dense vegetation and roots and continued to burn undetected until catastrophic weather ensued, resulting in the Palisades fire.
I make a lot of videos driving throughout Topanga Canyon. And not a lot of videos, but I've made a couple of videos displaying, right, the amount of thick, dense vegetation inside that canyon. Like, it still baffles me at how any insurance company sells anyone any policy inside that canyon. Like, it is literally unbelievable. There's no way that at some point in time someone's going to throw a cigarette or a cup of gas on the place when the winds are high, and that entire canyon is going up, and it's going up ridiculously. Like, and it's not just Topanga. It's Topanga, it's Santa Monica Mountains, it's Calabasas, it's Agoura Hills, it's Thousand Oaks, Newberry Park, Moore Park. Like, there's so many, and those are really rich, wealthy communities too. Like, those are all of the, there's no houses in those areas that I just mentioned that are under $1 million probably. Like, everything's $1 million plus and way up there. So at some point in time it's going to happen. So wildfire prevention is really the key. Vegetation clearance, like, no more trees in these residential areas. Like, there's a place for trees and there's a place for homes, right? We need to keep these two separated. The other day I was driving through the Palisades, and you see this old 1950 home, right? And right in front of it you got this giant oak tree or pepper tree, whatever the hell tree it was. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, dude, come on. Like, that, if that tree catches fire, everything's going up. All right, bro? Like, there's a place for trees belong in the forest, okay? And homes belong in the city, okay? We need to keep a pretty substantial gap between the two, okay? And then we also need to utilize technology to help prevent these and identify wildfires. So the quicker we can spot them, maybe we could use drones to, like, drop water on this shit, in the future. But just some of my thoughts and opinions. Hopefully some smart kid out there will do this. Let's get back to the video.
Render Nesh is now charged with setting the January 1 fire. We know this arrest cannot erase the pain or grief or losses endured, but we hope it is a step forward. It is proof that justice will not be forgotten, that our accountability will be pursued by ATF and our partners, no matter how complex the investigation and no matter how long it takes. To the families who lost so much, we hear you, we honor you, and we will continue to fight for you. The ATF established an email address for the victims and witnesses to contact ATF Victim Witnesses Assistance Program through the Palisades at atf.gov. Once again, I'll say that, the Palisades at atf.gov. Based on the information received, a regional victim witness specialist may contact you. That's my initial statement. I'm going to hand it over to the Chief of LA Police Department, Chief McDonald, and I will be open to questions afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenny. Good morning, and thank you all for being here. I want to begin by thanking the U.S. Attorney's Office, our partners at the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, and the dedicated men and women of our Robbery Homicide Division and Major Crimes Division. I also want to recognize and thank the Los Angeles City Fire Department and all of the investigators who came together to support this case. You look at the team standing here, and I couldn't be more proud of the work that was done throughout this investigation. It was extremely intensive and thorough, and the best of the best were working on it, and I'm very thankful for the partnership we enjoy with all of them all the time. The investigation into the Palisades fire of January 2025 was lengthy, complex, and, as I mentioned, extremely thorough. Our detectives responded immediately to the initial incident and worked side by side with our partners at the Los Angeles Fire Department, and once the ATF's National Response Team took on the case, they led the investigation, and our detectives remained fully engaged as partners every step of the way with them. I'm proud of the professionalism and dedication shown by our detectives and the team who work collaboratively.
All right, so all of this is basically just giving thanks to all the fire department, and they really do deserve it. You know, I wish I had that video of you driving along Pacific Coast Highway for miles and just seeing fire truck after fire truck after you know, Cal Fire, Ford F-150, Chevy truck. There were so many trucks there, and they don't get enough credit. But then again, you know, the entire city was lost, so it's kind of hard to give credit, I guess. But you know, it's not like, you know, there's only so much that you can do. But hopefully, this is going to be the opportunity for, like I said, I say this a lot. Or I don't say it a lot, but I've been saying it in this video that I really hope that this is the opportunity for some kid out there to create technology or a drone or something. To me, that makes a lot of sense. Like, create a drone with a thermal imaging camera sensor on it, right? That's powered by artificial intelligence and hooked up to Elon Musk's Starlink or something, right? Like whatever. And use that technology to help identify hotspots and flames and wildfires so we can get these things out as quickly as possible, right? Like, this shit should never happen. It shouldn't. It's so, like, this is California. This is the United States. This is one of the richest, wealthiest places in the world. And we're not dumb. These people that live here are not dumb. We're so much more capable, you know, of doing better and preventing these things. Like, this is nothing new. We can do this, all right? It just, unfortunately, we're going to have to really start cracking down on the budget and money and stuff like that. So, and I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon, to be honest with you. Anyways, so this video is getting kind of long, but I wanted to post it and make this quick little reaction video for you guys. And this is the first time I'm hearing about this kid and everything. So hopefully a lot of questions will be answered in the future. But now, obviously, now they have a suspect in custody. So, anyways, thank you. All right, before I get going and hang up this video, I just want to say thank you again to all of the people who subscribe to the channel and continue to support these videos that I create for you guys, right? It doesn't cost me anything, and I really do enjoy these videos, and I love interacting with the YouTube community and stuff, all of the people who support me and say good things and nice things. And some of the shit that I say is accurate, some of it's inaccurate, right? Like, but I'm not trying to deceive or manipulate or make people think anything in particular, right? Like when I say, I'll give you an example. People question whether or not there are Chinese billionaires buying up land. I can assure you there are, right? This is what I do for a living. I don't interact with Chinese billionaires, but I interact with builders and contractors and construction workers who work for them, right? So they're not going to put out names, right, either, because these people got a lot of money and they want to maintain, I don't know what the word is, a good image, right? Like, you can imagine right after the Hawaiian fire, right? I think it was in Lahaina. I didn't follow it or anything too much, but I heard Oprah Winfrey right after the fire went over there and tried to swoop up a bunch of land. Like, you can imagine how much of a tarnishment that must have been on her image. Like, what a scumbag. Like, who does shit like that, right? As soon as these people just had their entire neighborhood burned to the ground, you're going to go over there and start trying to bid it up, buy land? Like, scumbag. That's a scumbag move, straight up. So, you know, that's actually happening. But sometimes I say factually incorrect things and whatnot, and it doesn't matter. You know, I'm not trying to mislead or deceive anyone. But anyways, yeah, so thank you again to everyone who checks out the video, comments, likes, subscribes. I just hit over 1,700 subs, and that might not sound like a lot to some of you guys, but that's 1,700 people. Pretty soon it's going to be 2,000 people. That's a lot of people. And a lot of my videos actually get a couple of thousand of views, right? Like, you can imagine a room or a warehouse or a stadium filled with thousands of people. Like, I never thought anyone would give a shit about what I had to say, right? So anyways, yeah, and this is really like my little book about me, right? Like, I'm not going to sit down and write a book, but this YouTube channel isn't just about the Palisades fire. It's about my life as well, and this is just one chapter in my life going forward, right? So, and it's also my way of giving back to the community, right? Because I sincerely do remember how wonderful this community was pre-fire. It was a wonderful place, and anyone should have been honored and very appreciative to live in this area. It was spectacular. And with that being said, thank you again to everyone, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Until next time, guys, I'll talk to you later. See ya. Oh, food. Got it.